What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for November 13th, 2023. They are patching like crazy. We've had a patch every day this week to the PTU, and in one of those patches, they nerfed the best way to make money in the game, and IAE is coming. So for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be ships, and more ships. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, every day but Monday, starting at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, before we get into the video, I want to briefly talk to you about one of my sponsors, Advanced GG. We're basically doing a sale right now, and today is the last day. So if you want to jump on it, feel free. The link will be down in the description below, and use code SaltEMike30. Now, it's a powder that you turn into certain drinks. So this one is a focus line. Then you also have hydration, and there's energy drink lines, sleep lines. There's all sorts of things. These are really great. I love them. This is my favorite flavor here, strawberry lemonade, and this is my favorite hydration flavor, lychee rush. But there are other flavors like sour watermelon, as well as mango jalapeno. Now, don't sleep on that one. That may sound weird, but if you pair it with the hydration, it's fantastic. So give it a try. Link down in the description below, and make sure you use code SaltEMike for 30% off. Today only. It's over after today. But with that, we got a bunch to get through because there were 5 patches this week. So let's talk about those. And right off the bat on Monday, they made the biggest change of all time. They removed the insane glares from the screens around some of the cities. Please do it at the outposts as well. They improved on the tractor beams from most aspects, but they call out specifically rotation speeds as the main differentiator for each tractor beam instead of lifting. I found that to be really an interesting choice. Let me know what you guys think on that one, because I think it's a bit weird because I can lift the box, but then I can't turn it. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. They improved the data heist mission, and the SRV turret was adjusted. On Tuesday, it was a very minor patch with just some tractor beam adjustments and Crusader Spirit health balance. No big deal there. Wednesday, they fixed the gloss at more locations, and we love that, as well as some more art passes. And then they created a more final UI for tractor beams, and I think it's coming around really nicely. And the big one is that cargo manifests are being adjusted, and by adjusted, they are nerfed to the ground for now. A lot of people are upset, but they fail to see that making 5 million per hour isn't really an intended thing. I hope these are more fun than they are currently, but that comes with things like actual components and those being in the ships and, I don't know, structural salvage, fuel, all sorts of things that we would actually salvage from a ship. And for me, right now, this is exactly what needed to happen. And I think outside of improving on them a little bit, and making them a little bit more interesting, I love it, and yeah, I still will participate in this loop. Elliot posted just today on them, and the feedback he's getting is actually quite positive, which is great. They also adjusted the mass of ships, and I believe this is for the tractor beam values, but it's had some negative effects on the way ships fly in atmosphere. And then on Thursday, they worked on ground vehicle radar, where ships can't really see them unless they're very close still, but they can see each other better, which I think is specifically for Tank Royale, and they've been working on that for a couple weeks now. They did some balance to the defend FPS missions, as well as turning on a ship shield will now break the tractor beam attachment, as it was always intended to, but it wasn't really working. Then they also increased the retrieval ops mission, the rep requirements, so it's going to take a little bit longer to find those. And then they did some balance for a ground vehicle, the STV. Thursday bugs, finally there's some big bug fixes to point out. There were really nothing up to this point, to be honest. They fixed an EVA issue that was causing desync and invisibility. We always like those. The Starfarer now should be able to refuel because you couldn't dock with it for multiple patches. I can't wait for a reason to use this because honestly, it's the best UI they ever made, and it's actually fun to use. On Friday, they made it a crime for tractoring ships that aren't owned or aren't in your party. And I think that makes sense, at least until you can create some kind of service beacon. They then rebalance the MSR at most speeds because of that mast problem we talked about in a previous patch, and then more VFX passes on the tractor beam in general, and it looks really good. More bug fixes on Friday. Basically, the big one is I hope it's completely resolved. When I've died, I wanted to get my body back, and I could never find it. It was always at the center of the planet because it would fall through, and we hope this is fixed because, man, that's really annoying. And then Grimhex elevators are no longer killers. For now, until the next patch, I guess. And then lastly, the cargo UI markers will chill out a little bit because we've been seeing them everywhere and it's crazy. Now with that, that was this week. That was a ton of patches. There was also Siege of Orison, which I did not have a good time at. People were still rushing ahead. And honestly, I partook, but never saw a single guard. And it just wasn't fun. So let me know your feedback on Siege and anything that we talked about in the patches this week. Because, yeah, they're working really hard and they're working towards that IAE patch, but I don't know, man. We'll see. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And then we'll jump into the Squadron 42 monthly report. And with that, the entire thing is dedicated to things we already saw at SitCon. So I will just point out one or two that we hope to see in the PU in that 12-month or so window. So audio, we heard a lot of awesome improvements at the event, and we certainly hope to see them come into the game sooner than later. Gameplay features, they mentioned the character customizer that we saw at CitizenCon that was very powerful, and we certainly expect to see that probably the most soon, outside of some other things, as it really shouldn't have that typical multiplayer implication that a lot of other features may have. And then they also mentioned the star map for features that we saw at the convention. The R&D team, I guess, the research and development team, lastly, they focused on a number of features that I think we should be expecting in 3.22, which is like the cloud improvements and fog and some of those other things. So overall, it was a bit of a nothing burger this month as expected, but we can still look forward to a few of those features, hopefully in the next patch or soon thereafter. And then for video updates this week, we had an Inside Star Citizen and a Star Citizen Live. Can't say that for a really long time, but the ISC is exactly what we would have expected. Post-SitCon, it was extremely basic. It was a behind-the-scenes of CitizenCon. It was fun, again, but nothing really game-related that I can bring to you guys here, so links in the description if you want to check it out and you haven't yet. For Star Citizen Live, the first question was pretty simple. Do we have to wait for 4.0 for these UI updates? And this was the answer.
Does all of the stuff have to wait till 4.0? Or will some of the stuff that you showcased come in before the magic and fabled 4.0?
Well, the easiest answer to that question is just wait and see. But no, we're hoping to bring things in a bit at a time, so it won't be like a big lump of like, here's all the new features. So like when they're ready, they're going in, and they're going to be as ready as soon as possible. So we're all doing our best to get them actually from like being showcaseable to being production ready, so release status. So which is still quite a jump, but we're doing our best.
So there's a bit to unpack there. First, there's a clearly large gap between showcaseable and deliverable. Second, it seems like all the road and journey to 4.0 content turned out to be exactly what we expected it to be, not a road to 4.0. And then third, they are going to deliver it as soon as possible, which we're all very excited for. This was one of the more important user-facing panels at CitizenCon, and I can't wait to get some of this stuff in my hands. Next up, they had the EUPU guys to talk about the engineering panel, and people were concerned about soft death and when will our ships will be able to experience it with the new system.
Soft death is a bit of an interim solution due to the fact that we cannot actually currently in the game, let you damage power plants or relays or anything like that. So that means that, the way the game works currently, if you set something to 0 HP, it will just explode. Soft death allows us to bypass that a bit so that you get, a non-functional ship that you can still loot. With the physical damage system, we expect that to change, and instead of having soft death as its own thing, have it be more along the lines of, if you lose enough parts to your ship, you will stop flying or you will stop being able to fight. And whether that's repairable, it will depend. In some cases, some components are easy to change and repair. On the other hand, power plants for some ships are so large that you will need to tow the ship all the way back to port to do any kind of repair.
Like even moving forward with Maelstrom, it will be more complex, where like players will be able to shoot away certain sections of the ship, so you don't even have to like repair the ship items on it, but you like have to exchange entire segments of the ship itself.
Now, I love these answers, but since this was the only question we got before they had technical issues, we had actually, honestly, we didn't even get the answer finished, but I just can't wait for more. I want to know so much more about the damage system now and what the repair experience will be like, because what Thorsten said about replacing items sounds a lot like crafting, but I don't want to get overly excited about it. And that was this week's video content, and we're back to Earth, right? It's behind the scenes and just really messy SCLs. So, the CitizenCon high, at least with video content, is certainly not there anymore. And then moving on to other updates, we got a lot to go through here. The sneak peek we start out with, I don't exactly know what this is, but it looks alien, so a lot of people are talking about some new alien ship at IAE, so this is probably one of those. For IAE, since we just mentioned it, it's pretty simple this year so far. They shared a bit of a trailer with some potential Easter eggs, a lot of alien signage, and Tumbril Storm was shown quite a bit. The schedule is up. It's linked in the description. It's basically every 2 days for some of these manufacturers, and there's going to be a lot of content, it looks like there. They also showed off the paints for the best in show ships, which, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't get for owning them anymore. You have to pay for them, right? Which, again, more cosmetics, the better if that's the way they want to fund. But I will say this again and again and again. They keep making them items, which are just bloating up in our inventory, where these should just be like applied paints. It's super odd. Let me know what you guys think about it. Then we had a Zeus Mark II Q&A. Right off the bat, people came out swinging, asking, why would I buy other ships if this is clearly better? And they point out that it is less maneuverable. Okay, I'm just going to say it here. I think we need to stop pretending that one ship is better in one situation than another at this point, especially in similarly classed ships. Specifically, they're reaching so much now, it seems like. Just say it looks different and it's a different style choice. It's like a car. They all are nearly the same. They just look a little different, and you choose the one that you think looks the nicest with some minor creature comfort differences, right? So maybe that's what this maneuverability is to them in this situation. I'm not really about it anymore. What do you think? I really think that they're reaching. Do you want all these differences? I think it's caused a lot of scope creep in recent years, because in order to differentiate, they have to make ships better, right? So it's just one of those things that's just really, really weird. Next, I'm pointing out that they mentioned jump point sizes. So they might still exist, but it seems like a lot has changed. So we will know way more down the line when we start seeing actual 4.0 being a thing. Instead of just a dream, right? They also touched on the fact that prison pods cannot be stacked and need to be shelved like books for room-saving purposes, and similarly to other ships and how they do it. And the rest are very focused questions for the ship, which we likely won't see for a year or more. So feel free to check out the link in the description on all the details there. Then we had some dev responses. So Yogi talked about controllers being the reason why they made all the changes. And the goal was never to have controllers benefit from the changes. Well, at least it wasn't their main goal. It was just a knock-on effect to the situation that needed to change, for sure. People seem much happier with the progress on master modes, and as they've gathered feedback. I need to jump back in and try it, honestly. Then Thorsten talked about tractor beams a little bit. He was asked why the beam turns off when we get out of the seat. Their goal seems to be for all ships to not be a thing. Not sure if we'll see it in this iteration of the tractor beam, but at least they have things on their mind. He also listed off a number of cool inputs for ships like the Vulture that you can have a salvage beam and a tractor beam at the same time, so you could be more precise with how you want to use the salvage tractor beam combinations. I think it's super cool. And then lastly, we had a sub promotion and their med guns. So the red one is $10, the yellow one's $20, and the bluish one is purchasable on the store. They're pretty meh to me. Let me know what you guys think, but yeah, this one isn't getting me to go out and buy a subscription or anything like that. So thank you so much for watching today, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, putting this together each week is getting easier and easier and easier, and it's because of your support. So I appreciate it. I look forward to doing this every week. I hope you guys look forward to watching it. And if you did, make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment down below on anything we discussed today, and hit subscribe if you're new here. Also, please check out Advanced GG if you guys haven't yet. Again, 30% off, code SaltEMike. Link will be in the description as well. Love this stuff, and I will catch you guys next week.